Lawrence. Welcome to Talking Geek. This channel is called Just Geek, and out every Sundays I jump on this by myself or with my cousin, and we do Talking Geek 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're live every Sunday, so jump on in. But before you do, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that stuff. I hope you guys had a great week this week. On this show, I talk about all the geek news, but really just the geek news that tickles my fancy. Um, I'll talk about my week first as people come on in. I had a good week, man. I needed a Reacher fix. If y'all don't know, I love Reacher. So I started watching Cross on Prime. And Cross is pretty dope. It's nothing like Reacher. It's much more like Luther with Idris Elba. But yo, etc., so forth and so on. I always say it backwards, etc., so on and so forth. What's up, my guy? Um, Watching Reacher, now watching Cross, started watching Black Mirror. Love it. Reminds me of the old one. But I also got a toy, etc. I want to say this while you're here. I got me a toy this week, did an unboxing of this guy right here. You commented on the unboxing. Thanks for watching, bro. This might be the best 6-inch or 7-inch Superman figure ever made. I don't know. It just brings back a lot of memories, man. If you're an 80s baby like me, you had this guy, and he's seen much better days. And, when McFarlane finally dropped like this guy with superpowers, this kind of brought me back to my childhood. And this guy is kind of like an adult collector's version of what this guy represented back in the day. So like this might be the best Superman figure. Like I love this figure right here. So don't get it twisted. But the Mafex version, Mafex is great. It's a great figure, and in almost every way, it's more superior than the McFarlane one, right? I mean, look at this guy. The quality, the cape, the paint application. But if you just want your figure to stand still and look stoic on the shelf, it's not better than this one. Now, if you want to do some dynamic poses and anything you can imagine, copying it from each frame of the comic book, then this would be way better. But if you just want him standing on the shelf, having a presence, yeah, completely different functions. I might do a versus on these guys, but this might be the best one. And while I'm still talking about this, and McFarlane, just the growth of his line, man. This was a great figure back in 2020. Still a great figure now. And the evolution in 5 years, you know. I have friends who would say, finally, McFarlane made a good Superman figure, but he's been making them. He's been making them. Some issues here and there, but he's been making them. But that's my week. I'm not caught up on Daredevil. I'm a week behind. I decided to watch the finale of White Lotus with my wife last night, and we were nearly a week behind on that. So I have to catch up on Daredevil. Um, but like I said, Black Mirror is freaking dope. It reminds me of like season 1, season 2. So let me know how y'all are feeling about Black Mirror. Let's get into some of the news, man. Let's get into some of the news. One bit of content I have been watching is like, I forget the name of the show, but it's like this Dark Side of Hollywood series. And let me show you. That's not what I want you to see. But it's this Dark Side of Hollywood series, right? And this week, or the third episode, I should say, deals with the Power Rangers, the dark side of the Power Rangers. And if you don't know much about, if you love the Power Rangers, you definitely should watch it, especially if you don't know much about it. But if you're a diehard Power Rangers fan, you pretty much know everything they're saying. But it really goes in on what the cast had to go through. For those of you who don't know, Haim Saban basically created a television series, but mostly, but 50% of it was Japanese footage from a series in Japan, the Super Sentai series, which was going on for decades before Mighty Morphin came out. So every time they were in suits or fighting in their Zords, robots, though that was the Japanese footage for the most part. And anytime they were out of their suits in school or fighting putties, those were the actors. So imagine how much money they saved on production by not having to do any of the big set pieces. And it's pretty much the way it is to this day. There isn't a new Power Rangers series out right now, but up until the last one, which is what, 30 something seasons later, I can't even keep track. That's how they did it. Uh, and it was also non-union, so these actors got paid like $700 an episode, which isn't a lot. Um, it is. It's very heartbreaking on many levels. How they were treated, like I said, like when they got recast, they would just be told last minute or not told at all. Like the red one you see, and the yellow one, and the black one, Walter Jones, Austin St. John, Twee Trang. They basically wanted to become a union, like they wanted to be paid fairly. And instead of even having real negotiations, they were just fired and replaced. And they did that actually kept going until we got to the season where after Power Rangers in Space, every season after that had a new set of Rangers and almost like a brand new story. It felt like it was their way of making it so the actors can never get too popular, too famous, and have to renegotiate their contracts, because that's what actors do when on a TV series. You know, you don't make much if it's your first series, but then when you get into season 2 and season 3, you start negotiating your contracts. Um, and they were also like doing their own stunts in the first seasons, and they were getting hurt, so they weren't getting hazard pay. It's kind of wild what they went through. Then, of course, a lot of tragedies. One Red Ranger from, I think, Wildstorm, and he unalived someone. And another Red Ranger from Ninja Storm unalived himself. We all know the stories about Jason David Frank and what he went through and what happened to him. And the documentary is definitely sensational. Like, it really makes you feel like there's this dark curse, and these actors and producers and production went through a lot. But there was 36 actors who played the Rangers, give or take, and only 5 out of 36 had issues. I can't say there's this Power Rangers curse. I think that's just out of 36 people, you're going to have a few one who are suffering from some issues. So I would hate to dampen our childhoods. It's not cursed, but there's definitely a lot of loopholes the Saban team went through. But it was cool to hear that when it was sold to Disney for a bit, that those actors were union and did have stunt doubles, and they were taken care of. So hopefully that goes forward with what's going on with the net. It's still a Netflix thing. I don't really know where Power Rangers is right now, but hopefully the next installments the actors will be taken care of. Uh, yo, I don't know if y'all saw this, but you should check it out. Go to the Marvel page. There's 8 hours of Hugh Jackman as Hugh Wolverine just breathing. An 8 hour, I guess, ASMR video of just and that's why I'm a big fan of independent studios and producers that are outside of the Hollywood spectrum. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But sometimes those independent studios and producers that are outside the Hollywood spectrum, sometimes they're the ones that could go around corners, you know. They're the ones that might make something non-union, might make something a super modified low budget when in reality they have more money. Like sometimes it really depends on the people in charge and I guess their moral compass, because some of these independent studios and producers, not all of them, but some, they can cut corners too. And when we hear the stories on the set of Rust, like you don't hire an armorer, you don't hire a legit person who understands weapons and how to distribute them to actors, and then there's crazy accidents on set. So I think we just need good people who do good business at the top of these things, independent or Hollywood. Um, but Hugh Jackman just standing there breathing. It's a picture, and AI is generating his movement, but it's so funny to look at. And God bless people who actually stood there for 8 hours. But if you did, at the end of the video, it just changes to this. Uh, you know, Throwing back to his iconic comic book cover, where he's just like, "Come on, I don't know what this is for. I don't know if this is them. If this is them like throwing a little hint that he is going to be in Avengers Doomsday." But we know they are. We know he is. Come on, even if it's for a cameo, gots to. But at least they would let the talent actors know what's going on and what their limitations are. That's very true. That's very true. When you go into an independent production, you go in knowing it's probably going to be some ragtag, gritty, everybody's kind of all in thing. You're absolutely right. You're right. You know what you're getting into. Where when you sign up for Power Rangers and you're looking at Saban Entertainment, it's on Fox Kids, there's toys of you and your likeness is used everywhere and you don't get a cent of it. It's kind of crazy. And they told the story of how like they were given contracts and it was like a Friday night or something and like they needed to have it signed the next day in the morning. This is before email. This is before anything that would get those contracts to their representation in a timely manner to have it looked over by lawyers and signed. So they were pulling. Yeah, they played around with them because they were able to go non-union. Uh, like you're talking about $1 billion franchise, but when the Yellow Ranger, who was in Power Rangers Zeo, was just found out she was being fired pretty much with the rest of the cast as they're getting recast in Turnbow, she went to teaching right away. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you would assume if you're part of a enterprise, if you're part of a television series that has grossed altogether like $1 billion franchise, that you wouldn't have to go work a regular job right away, that you would have been compensated for how much money you've made them. Not when it comes to Power Rangers, man. So if you ever see them at conventions and you love them and they're part of your childhood, show them love because they did not get what they should have gotten. And hopefully that changes as we go forward. Um, so we got another look at James Gunn's Superman right here. This is a little exclusive preview from Collider. We get to see him and Lex Luthor on set. It's kind of cool. This is our first image of Superman and Lex together ever. And I know some people don't like it, etc. I know how you feel about this. I know how you feel about his costume. I know how you feel about Snyder and Man of Steel. But this looks good to me, baby. I love everything about this. I love his suit. I like that he looks hopeful and happy and warm. Not saying Henry Cavill wasn't able to give that. That just wasn't what he was supposed to do. That wasn't the tone of those movies. So I'm happy to see that we're getting back to this tone. We also got another look at the Fantastic Four coming out. Yo, Hunter, Iggy, Jesse, what are your thoughts on the Red Ranger? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. He pretty much had a sword and he unalived, was it his roommate? I mean, it's crazy. But when you watch the documentary, it seems as though He's been troubled. He was always kind of troubled. And I have to imagine someone must be troubled probably their whole entire life to do something like that. But I don't like the documentary making it just feel like it's this Power Rangers thing. It's not. It's out of 36, 37, 38 actors, you're going to get a couple who have, some mental distress. You just are. Sarah, what you guys say? I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not impressed with this suit. The actor playing Superman put in so much work in getting in shape. You're right. You're right. You're right. I mean, and he did put in that work. But we gonna get a shirtless scene. Has there ever been a superhero movie where you don't have, for some strange reason, the superhero shirtless? And I wonder if it's going to be his final suit. I wonder if it's going to be his final suit. Um, I would love something more form fitting. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Let me take another look at this suit. I agree. I would love something more form fitting, but I do like that it's not as muscly as what Cavill ended up with. I liked his Man of Steel suit a lot, but after that, when Batman v Superman and Justice League, it just became like, how thin is this material that it shrink wraps around every part of your musculature? It looked too action figurey, too rubber Batman suit. But Man of Steel is my favorite Superman suit of all time. But I do like the colors on this one, and I do hope that he gets a new suit, or in the sequel, it does become a little bit more form fitting. I don't need to see every ab, but yeah, it'd be nice to see a little bit more muscularity. I'm loving what they're giving us with Fantastic Four. Apparently, some fans are pretty upset with Johnny Storm over here. He basically said in an interview that Johnny Storm in the comics has been branded as this womanizing, devil may care guy. But is that sexy these days? I don't think so, Quinn says. This version of Johnny is less callous with other people's feelings. Um, and people are upset about that. And I get it. Like, we hate this watering down, super PC, don't want to hurt everybody's feelings culture. But MCU has never really went in on some of the darker parts of the comics, right? Like, we never got into the demon in a bottle story with Tony Stark. And even Civil War isn't as dark as the comic book version. So for me, what he's saying in their changes to Johnny Storm, it seems right on track with the MCU universe, where they don't go too dark, right? They don't go too. So maybe he's not so much a womanizer. This is still Disney. So it doesn't bother me too much. I like to see how they carry it. What you guys saying in the chat? Let me see. Just geeking out. Should he get some help? Redemption, definitely some help. I honestly don't know where he is now. If he's in jail, I actually don't remember what happened to him. But if he's in jail, I would love for him to get some help while he's in there. And if he's out, he definitely should get some help. Redemption, I'm not the one. I'm not the judge. I can't judge whether he should get redemption or not. I think it really comes down to the victim's family and whether they can forgive him or not. I love to say that we should all forgive, and I do believe we all should forgive, but it's not on me to tell them how they should respond to this tragedy. But I do hope anyone in that position gets help. It's not a natural thing to harm someone like that. Something's not right. And if he can be helped, I'd love for him to get help. Doesn't mean he still shouldn't be punished, though. Well, look at it's 1970, Superman 78. It was form fitting. You're right. You're absolutely right. If I was going to be constructive about the James Gunn suit, I would definitely say that the material is too thick. I think he could have given us this kind of all-star Superman look where it's not super, super tight, but it's form-fitting enough to see his muscularity. And you said it, or even Dean Cain's suit. Of course, it can't be spandex, but they could have still found a material that could still give us what he's given us, but it just more form-fitting, absolutely. Um, there's something about it I like. There's a clunkiness about the suit that I like, and I don't know why. I think it's because it just makes him more charming, and I feel like Superman would do everything he could to seem less imposing. Like he doesn't need to show his rippling muscles because he's the strongest person in the universe. So he would do if anything, he would do things to downplay how godlike he is. Uh, Brandon Routh suit was yeah. I mean that was a pretty good suit. That was tight. I don't like I like the way it fit him. But I hate the design of that suit. Uh, yeah, I think we could have found a happy medium. I don't know if I don't know if it needs to be tight, 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 tight. But yes, it doesn't need to be as baggy as it seems. I still want to see it in actual live action outside of just the trailers, though. But I kind of like how clunky it is. It's weird. Heck, even Superman suit from Superman and Lois was better. Whoa. That okay, outside of those crazy freaking shoulder pads. For those of you who Superman and Lois suit, like it took them like what 4 seasons to just pull out some of that muscle padding on Tyler Hoechlin. In the first 2 seasons, he had these linebacker shoulder pads that just was laughable. And the series was too grounded for that. I would agree with you, etc. That to me is where I would love to see Corrin sweatsuit. Not those colors. His suit was nearly black sometimes looking. But how it was form fitting, but it wasn't like tight, 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 tight. But it looked like it had texture, like it looked heavy duty, but it still was form fitting. That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. I think that should be the kind of standard bearer of how a Superman suit ought to fit. Um, Maybe we'll get there with this. Maybe we'll get there. Um, what else we got? What else we got on the docket today? Let me see here. So, for you toy collectors, yo, Beast Kingdom dropped some toys, man. If you're into DC, Beast Kingdom dropped their 8-inch, excuse me, Superman toys. Kind of Alex Ross style. Superman toys, DC toys, Alex Ross style. Uh, they look really good, man. They definitely look like they're better articulated than a McFarlane figure, although it probably has the same amount of articulation. Um, and the wire cape looks beautiful. Now, at the price point that it was, I was like, heck no. But now they're actually on sale for $40, not including shipping. And I don't know. I'm not too mad at it. I love the head sculpt on the Batman figure. I love that Batman has that two-tone cape. On the outside, it seems leathery. On the inside, it looks like it's cloth. But you're not getting any accessories on this. You're just getting hands. So is it worth the $40 price point? I don't know. I don't know. It's 8 inches, so it's not going to fit with your McFarlane stuff. It's going to kind of stand on its own. But the paint apps look great. The head sculpts look great. Accessories suck. Green Lantern looks awesome. This is better than what we've gotten from McFarlane, I got to tell you, at least with Green Lantern. Superman, I can debate all day long because I love the new Superman that McFarlane gave us. And at least he gives us a lantern. Now, this might be the best Dark Side in this scale. This Dark Side is fire. You see cloth good tunic. That cape is excellent. It was around 70 something dollars, but now it's on sale for like 60 something. So this might be worth it. He gets hands, but he also gets his Omega beams. This might be worth it. And a giant Dark Side in your collection isn't going to look as crazy as the other figures, because Darkseid can be bigger than Superman. What's going on in the chat? Hey, are you talking about the shows you've been watching? I have not seen From. I watched the first few episodes, but I don't have where it streams. But I did watch. I needed a Reacher fix, so I watched Cross. I'm an episode behind on Daredevil, and I have been watching Black Mirror. I talked about that a bit at the top. The new season of Black Mirror is out, and I'm just binging it. And so far, I really like it. Kind of reminds me of episode. They're the first seasons of Black Mirror. I didn't love every episode yet, but most of them I'm really digging. It's very, very emotional. Uh, Lauren, so the rumors going around the internet that Superman movie might get a new suit by Jura. I don't know. There's a lot of rumors. I think a lot of it is fans just wanting him to get a new suit. Just hoping that he gets a new suit by the end of the movie. Me and my boy Jack were talking about that when we first saw the images, because I didn't like this suit when I first saw it, but I kind of just put it in my head that this is going to be the suit. Like, don't go in there thinking he's going to get a new suit. You'll be disappointed. Just, this is the suit. And if he gets a new one, great. But just know, like, this is the suit. Until we're really told otherwise. Hey, quick question, bit off topic. I didn't really care for the head of the Earth 2 Superman, but love the head of Kingdom Come Superman. How do you think that would look with a head swap? Dude, I do not have my Kingdom Come, but I think the Kingdom Come head is significantly superior to this Earth 2 Crisis head. So when I get my Kingdom Come, let me go big real quick. When I get my Kingdom Come, I want to put him on this head, on this body. I want to do what you can see how it looks. But I'm also curious because I didn't do this in my unboxing video, but I'm going to do it when I get my Supergirl toy. But when I talk about the Superman family, right? And I have him standing with Supergirl and Superboy. This is a very young looking Superman. So I'll be curious what it'll look like putting the Kingdom Come head on this figure too, making this Superman more mature. Because right now, his face looks just like that post-crisis Superman. Like, it's like year one Superman, very young. So I'll be fun to see Kingdom Come on this body as an older Superman, was still in his classic suit. But yes, I think anything would be more superior than this head sculpt. But I like it for this figure. So I'm excited to have Kingdom Come and Earth 2 side by side, right? Two older Supermen, one born out of tragedy, one living the good life. Where was I? But check this out. So we have footage of Supergirl, leaked footage. This is the concept art that was going on around for Supergirl. Of course, it's a rumor. Is it a leak? Is it not a leak? We don't really know. Her suit looks amazing. Looks just like Supergirl. Um, Looks better than Corn Sweats. Much more classic, I would say, with the exception of the Kingdom Come symbol. But it's just a leak online. But we got some actual video footage of them on set. And I don't like showing this kind of stuff because it's a leak and we need to see this, how it looks like in a trailer. But I couldn't resist. I wanted to show you. It gives us a really good image of the suit. So check this out. Like, we get to see her in costume. It really matches Corn Sweats. It's classic Supergirl costume. I think I see a yellow S poking behind that long blonde hair. We got the skirt. The cape is perfect. And I think as she crosses out here, we're going to get a look on her at her emblem. You'll be able to see it soon. And it's definitely the same emblem. It's looking like that Corn Sweat is wearing. Yeah, you can see it right there a little bit. Same Superman emblem. Now, of course it is. They had their family, but y'all know that these comics, especially in the last like New 52 and on, they'll have Supergirl sporting a completely different S than Superman. We saw it in the CW verse. Her S was different. So I was expecting, we could have got We could have got a lot of different things. We could have got a Supergirl suit that looks like, you know, this, which I love, but not uniform. Um, I wish they would make a Helen Slater Supergirl figure. That'd be sick. But are you excited for the one we're about to get? Did you pre-order the Woman of Tomorrow figure? Because I mean, that's really close to how Helen Slater. Really close. That'd be dope. I would love a Helen Slater figure. We talked about this. Give me a John Wesley Ship Flash figure. Give me a Christopher Reeve Clark Kent figure. Put that in a 2-pack with the bad Superman, Superman 3. There's so many dope figures. I wish McFarlane gave us like a secret identity line where we can get a Bruce Wayne and a Dick Grayson and a Clark Kent and a Hal Jordan. I don't know if a whole lot of collectors would buy them, but I definitely would. Yeah, but it's a short news week, and I'm kind of on my own today. My cousin Chris has some stuff to do, so that's really all I got to report on. 50-50. You 50-50 on it. You're gonna pass. Do you have any Supergirls in your collection? You're gonna pass on it. Really? I'm surprised. I thought you would have I thought it was a pretty great sculpt. Why are you 50-50, etc.? 50-50. I'm shocked. I don't know why I'm so shocked. Like I've been to your house and I've seen your collection. But tell me why are you shocked about it? I mean, why are you 50-50 about it? Oh, here we go. Hunter, my bad, I missed your question. Lawrence, what are your thoughts on the all-in-one comic book DC Universe? Dude, I love it, and I'm behind. I'm behind on my comic reading. I just finding the time to read has been really difficult. So I read the first Absolute Superman, and I love it, and I love the concept for Batman. And I heard Wonder Woman's amazing. I missed out on the issue ones of the Batman and Wonder Woman, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and either get them, when they come out in a graphic novel, or just get them all digitally. But yeah, just my comic reading. I haven't had time, but I love it. I love alternate universes that allow us to take, departures from the main continuity without changing the main continuity into something it's not supposed to be. I'm very excited to jump into that Batman. You take away his riches, he's just this massive human specimen, but you take away the billions of Bruce Wayne, and how does this Batman operate? I love that, and I really enjoyed the Superman comic, playing around with that lore, etc. How about we get some figures of that, huh? Absolute Superman, absolute Batman figures. That'd be sick. Uh, but anywho, man, that's all the news I got. It's a short show today. I'm gonna jump off and go finish watching Black Mirror. Go watch some freaking Daredevil. It's a beautiful Sunday. What better way than to watch awesome TV shows and eat some good food? Hunter, etc. Thank you so much for joining me today. It would have been very lonely without you guys. Lawrence, what are your thoughts on the Snyder Bros? Don't want DC silly, super crazy, but they want serious, absolute universe. Okay. I'm a Zack Snyder fan. I love is a strong word. I strongly, strongly liked Man of Steel. Batman v Superman, even less, but I appreciated it because I got Batman and Superman together. Justice League, did not like it. Justice League, the Snyder version, loved it. I loved everything about it. Loved it. I don't care how long it was. I loved it. That being said, the fanboys, not the fans, the fanboys, they just irritate me because you're not a superhero fan. You're not a Superman fan. Because if you're a Superman fan, you would never want a Superman thing to fail, especially before you've even seen a trailer. Like they were dogging this before it was even cast. The fact that James Gunn signed on, they were dogging it from the beginning, and they haven't let up. So I hate it. I feel like we're here because we love this guy. We love this guy, right? So I love him, and it doesn't matter if he plays him or if he plays him. I love him. So if I'm not gonna go in going Henry Cavill's crap. Why they changed Superman to dark colors? I hate all this, and I haven't even seen the movie yet. That's just trash to me. And they hated on Henry Cavill. They hated on Zack Snyder when they first started rolling out the news about Man of Steel years ago. They did the same thing to Heath Ledger when he was cast as Joker, and it's almost like just shut up and watch it. And if you watch it and hate it, then hate it. Say what you got to say. But they hate on it to this level. And an absolute universe would be cool cinematically, but we need to get our main continuity going. And Superman is not Batman for you Snyder fanboys. He is supposed to be hopeful and have levity. He's supposed to be the good that we all wish we can aspire to. He is supposed to be the sunlight. That makes it so Batman can be dope. If you have two superheroes who are both, angsty and sad, like they cancel each other out. Superman being the light will allow for the DCU Batman to be the dark. But in Snyderverse, they were just both dark. One was dark and one was darker. So that's my critique on it. I think if you're a comic book fan, you should be excited. If you're a Snyder fanboy, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't have any Supergirl figure. I have a few Wonder Woman figures, but I have been picky about Supergirl. She has to look a particular way. Heck, if they came out with an Infinite Crisis, I would. So you don't. You're not in love with. Well, they haven't come out with a whole lot of Supergirl figures when it comes to McFarlane. I have, like I showed you, I have the Injustice here, and I have the one from the Flash here. Just because I wanted to get what they would never give us on screen, which is these two together. So yeah, I just want a classic enough looking Supergirl figure to go in kind of my Superman family collection. But I get it. The one they put out a while ago was with the red leggings was whack, and then this one isn't exactly the classic version either. So I get it. I should have got that classic Wonder Woman. I was a fool for not trying to get that. I've been saying when I saw the Count of Monte Cristo when I first came out that Henry Cavill at that young age would make an awesome Superman when he gets older. Yo, Henry Cavill is an amazing freaking Superman. He's amazing. And if you listen to his interviews, he has like everything like some people who hate on Snyder and hate on his interpretation of Superman. He was an actor doing what the director wanted to do. But when you hear Cavill in interviews talking about Superman's humility, how he's inspirational, how he's hopeful, like Cavill understands the character, he gets it. And then it's kind of buried under the whole Joss Whedon thing. But when he was doing press for that Justice League film, Joss Whedon's version, he was excited to play a more hopeful Superman. He was really into it. Like in his mind, the reason to make Superman so unsure of himself in the first two films was to eventually get him to be what we know he is. That's why when he did that Black Adam cameo, he played it with so much charm and Black Adam, we should talk. It wasn't how he was in Man of Steel, because that's the version that Cavill wanted to play from the beginning. But as an actor, you have an assignment to do. The director has a tone. This is what he wants to do. So I agree with you, man. Cavill was freaking great. And the fact that you were able to see it when he was like this 14-year-old, I'll give it to you, man. I give it to you. I didn't see it until I saw Immortals. That's when I was like, okay, there he is. Not that I didn't think he was, but he was a child. He had the foresight I didn't have. Cavill's great, and I see a lot of fan speculation, not speculation, wishes that somehow James Gunn's universe collides into the DCEU. This was actually a really cool story, and I'll say this, and I'll get out of here. I forgot these guys on TikTok, but one of them said like, so you have the DCEU, you have the DCU, James Gunn's universe, thriving, and then out of the DCEU universe, Ben Affleck's Batman shows up to the Gunn's universe's Justice League, and it's from that nightmare timeline. And he's like, I need help. I need help. The Superman of my world is destroying it. So then the Justice League from the DCU go into the DCEU and take on Cavill's Superman. And Cavill's Superman is so overpowered. Like, David Cornsweet's Superman can't defeat him on his own. So he needs the Justice League with him because that's how much more powerful this universe's Superman is. It was a really cool story they came up with. My only issue is I don't want the last image we see of Cavill's Superman being evil. Right? Like, he's still Superman to me. I don't want him to like die at the end of his film being evil Superman. So, but it was a really cool take. And crazier things have happened. Who the heck knows? We might see the Snyder superheroes show up in the DCU in some crisis tip. Who the heck knows? All right, I've bored you guys enough. I'm out of here. Hunter, etc. Thank you so much for joining me live on this chat. I go live. Sometimes it's me. Most of the time it'll be me and my cousin, maybe a guest. And 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on every Sunday. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you guys are watching this in the replay, thank you so much for jumping in. This is a lot of fun for me, just talking about toys, comics, and TV. He'd be great. He'd be great as Justice Lord Superman. I just don't want him. I just don't want the last image we see of Cavill's Superman to be evil. Is there a version where we can have David Cornsweet's Superman, Cavill's Superman in the main continuity, and they have to team up to take down Cavill's evil version in the Nightmare universe, just so we still end with a good Cavill Superman? Can we have that? I don't want to see the last image of Cavill as Superman being evil and dying. That'd be terrible. And the Snyder fanboys would hate it. Anyway, I'm out. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. Y'all keep bringing me back in. Y'all keep bringing me back in. Hold on. Have him as Earth 2 Superman. I would love him as Earth 2 Superman. Not Kingdom Come. I don't want to believe. I have a sore spot for. I have a sore spot and a sweet spot. I want my heroes. I want their stories to end well. I want to believe that what they get from saving the world at the end of their life is peace. That's why I love Superman and Lois. No spoilers. So I would love him to be Earth 2 Superman, even though that does get tragic if you've read Infinite Crisis. But I would hate for him to be Kingdom Come, because Kingdom Come Superman, he's lost so much. And I wouldn't want to see Cavill's version lose that much. I want him to have a happier ending. Anyway, bye.